So Love Envoi obviously finished runner-up in the international hurdle at Cheltenham on Saturday, where Lossy Mouth was obviously in a different league, but we were very pleased with how Love Envoi ran over a trip that's short of her best and on ground that we know when we prefer sort of slower conditions. So, but the positives that we took from it were that she jumped and travelled with her usual enthusiasm and zest. So that was a bit much sharper performance from that point of view from her reappearance at Sandown. So look, it's all systems go to going back there in 6 weeks' time, where she'll run in the mare's hurdle again, having finished runner-up last year, back up in trip, and hopefully slower ground conditions to suit us more. So obviously the more emphasis on stamina the better, but clearly Lossy Mouth's going to be very hard to beat, but as we saw at the weekend, not all odds on shots go and win. It's not guaranteed. It's horse racing after all. So we'll look forward to getting Love Envoi there in the best possible form and her taking a chance again. So Gidleigh Park, we were delighted to keep his unbeaten tag in place. The race wasn't necessarily run to suit. We ended up sort of in front after the second, having jumped our way there, or the leader actually making a mistake. But he then, Johnny rode a sensible race on him in terms of he just kept a bit up his sleeve with a view that he didn't want to give him a harder race than he necessarily wanted to. It had been easy to have gone forward and made use of his sort of size and because all he does is, he's just a real galloper, and he could have made more use of that. But at the end of the day, it was trials day, and so when it turned for a sprint for home, it did look like we were sort of going to be finished runner-up, in fact, going to the last. But that was what was really encouraging, to see him battle back and show a good attitude to get back up in front after the last, and having won all his races sort of quite comfortably to date, getting in a bit of a tussle like that won't do him any harm at all, and hopefully he'll learn from that, and it's sort of onwards and upwards with him to hopefully going back there as well in 6 weeks. Obviously, we've got him in both the Barring Bingham over 2.5, which is on the old course, whereas we were on the new course on Saturday. And you've got the Albert Bartlett entry for him as well, which is over the course he ran on Saturday. So, we'll make the decision when we have to nearer the time. We've always thought so 2.5 at this point in time is suits him. We're unlikely to get a steadily run Barring Bingham, that's for sure, come March. So I'd say that's so our preference is leaning towards that, but we'll make a final decision near the time. So Carrymore Rowan goes to Exeter for the 2 mile 5 maiden, having tried him in sort of deeper waters at Cheltenham before Christmas in a graded novice over 3 miles. So it's a slight drop in trip, but around somewhere like Exeter, this won't feel like that much of a drop over 2 mile 5. So he's didn't disgrace himself in that graded novice. So we're hoping that back in maiden company he can go very close indeed. Rioja is all set to run back over hurdles, having taken him out on account of the testing ground at Chepstow last week. He's obviously got a lot of weight, but on his best form, if he can recapture that, then he can run a good race. But we're going there on a bit of a fact-finding mission, and hoping that he can recapture some of his better form. So on Saturday, we've made entries at Sandown for both In Excelsis Dio and Dubrovnik Harry. In Excelsis is in a 2 mile handicap chase, having run both his starts so far this season at Cheltenham. But we'll decide later in the week whether we take up that engagement. And the same can be said for Dubrovnik Harry, who we've entered in the valuable 3 mile handicap hurdles. So we'll see how the entries and look and the conditions before making a final decision on whether they run nearer the time. So obviously watched the Clarence House with interest, and yeah, John Bon obviously was the main talking point. Who wouldn't have expected him to get beat, but it just shows on any given day it's a horse race and anything can happen. I mean, it was not the ideal prep, to put it mildly, for the champion chase, but he just actually, before he even made that mistake, I think if you rewind to the start of the season where he won the Schlur chase, I just think he looked a totally different horse on Saturday to the one we saw win so impressively back in November, and so I wasn't surprised to see, or not. I was expecting him to make a mistake that he did, but I just didn't think he was jumping quite the same fluency and accuracy that he had done at the start of the season. So, I mean, it's credit to the horse and the jockey James Byrne that actually able to get back into contention after such a mistake. Most horses, that would be them completely finished. So yeah, I mean, I think James, obviously the first time riding him, did really well to keep the partnership intact in the first place, let alone get the horse back into a challenging position come the last. But clearly the mistake had left its mark, and he just didn't quite have enough to repel the winner, Alexa de Nuit. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I mean, we're talking about this because we've got Boot Hill hopefully to run in the champion chase if he comes through his prep in the game spirit smoothly. So clearly, I mean, yeah, El Fabiola and John Mon are the sort of the standouts in the division, but Alexa de Nuit has had a very, very good season, exceptional season with the races he's won, and yeah, I mean, there'll be plenty in the race, hoping to capitalise on any mistakes from the big two, and yeah, Alexa de Nuit would be going there. I think the connection's full of confidence on the back of a Grade 1 win. So yeah, from our point of view, Boot Hill, they're all dangers, all challenges, but we'll be trying to come through our prep smoothly and then focus on March.